Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. To keep this podcast free, we're partnering with Stoke Seeds. Indoor seed starting is fun, easy, and economical, and now's the time to start your seeds. If you're looking to grow a vegetable variety or add a punch of color to your flower garden, review the Stoke Seed Starting Guide online. You'll find information about soil preparation, moisture, temperature, light, transplanting, and more. The Stoke Seeds website is a complete resource center that you need to make your garden the envy of the neighborhood. Get growing with Stokes. We'll have more to come from Stoke Seeds in the next few weeks. Now, for today's question. Jim, we had talked before when you were here about how popular the container gardening has really become. I know you do a lot of business with the container gardening now where, people, maybe they don't want to go out and plant a bunch of annuals, but they can put some containers out and just have some real color. But you have, I don't know, I guess a routine that you do that really makes these pots look great. And
Sure.
It's kind of a clever thing. And tell us about that.
Yeah, well, the container gardening around the house with flowers and vegetables has become huge. And especially for people who maybe don't have the time or don't want to mess with planting flower beds, containers are a great option. And when we start to create a container, we kind of think of three things. One is in terms of describing the plants. We have spillers, fillers, and pillars. So there are three basic kinds of plants. In other words, pillars would be like an upright plant. Fillers are going to be something that, fill in between, and spillers are plants that fall over the container. And I like to say that spillers, fillers, and pillars create thrillers.
There you go. Yeah, that'll work. So talk about some of the plants that, like, if you put together a nice container with, an upright plant and then some fillers and then the ones
Sure.
that vine down over. Or talk about
Right.
how you do that.
Well, the pillars go in, typically in the center. If it's a container that's going to be on the patio where it can be viewed from all sides, then you would put the pillar in the center. Now, if the pot's going to back up against a wall or something like that, then oftentimes we'll put the pillar to the back. And then the next plant that we would add is what we call the fillers. And those are going to go around the base of the pillar and add color and fill in. And then along the edge of the container, we're going to have the spillers, which are plants that vine over and hang down. Examples would be a pillar might be something like a geranium in the middle, or sometimes we'll use grasses. But anything that tends to get a little taller, sometimes there's other plants that tend to grow upright, like I guess I haven't got my annual brain in gear here yet.
Not yet, yeah.
But anything that salvia sometimes can be a pillar. And then fillers can be like there's a plant called diamond frost that makes a nice filler, has a nice white plant in it. And then spillers can be Lubularia or Vinca vine or ivies are typically spiller type plants. But when you think of the construction of how you're going to build that flowering container, just think in terms of that. And when you go to the garden center to get your flowers, then look at the plant height. If it tends to get taller, then it's probably going to be a good pillar. And then look for something that's a little size smaller for your filler, and then something that vines for the spiller. Vining geraniums are another one that we use a lot of as a spiller. So that's how we think when we put a container together. And, now's a great time to get to get online or get on the computer, or if you've got that seed catalog that came in with all those nice pictures of flowers on them, and start doing a little research. Where's the container going to be? If it's going to be in full sun, then you want to look for plants that'll tolerate full sun. It's going to be a little shadier, then you might want to look for things like begonias or New Guinea hybrid impatiens, and something that'll tolerate more shade. So, but it's a fun time to plan out what you're going to plant where, and look at all the different colors that you have to choose from. So
I tell you what, it's getting to that, especially with this warmer weather we've been having. Everybody's getting anxious.
Oh yeah, and of course, if you get out to an arboretum or somewhere where it's a little bit warmer inside, and you see all these flowering plants that are starting to come out. You really get the bug to get out in the landscape and get something done. And, of course, now is a great time. The temperatures are moderate, so you put a jacket on, a light jacket, and you go out and you start cleaning up those beds and trimming the grasses back and cutting the old perennials back and get that debris out of the bed. And, if you edge your beds, now is a good time to do that. The ground's soft, and you can edge it real easy, and if you mow your grass, hey, you better get your mower tuned up, and if you take it into a shop to have that done, you want to do it early, because, when the grass starts growing, they'll tell you, gee, it'll be 2 or 3 weeks, and then you'll be mowing hay out there, So,
and then it's a little bit too late.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks again for listening to the podcast. Remember, lose the winter blues and garden indoors. Start your indoor seeds with the help of Stokes Gardening Guide and their online articles. For the best selection of vegetable, flower, and herb seeds available, go to stokeseeds.com. Catalogs are still available. Stokes Seeds, cultivating successful growers for generations.